Rainbow Fish and the Sea Monster's Cave. Help, come quick! The little blue fish was alarmed. His friends were there in a minute. What is it? What's wrong? Look at the bumpy-backed fish. He must be sick. He isn't moving and he doesn't answer me. He just groans. Let me through, said the swordfish. She went up to the bumpy-backed fish. Can you tell me what's wrong? The bumpy-backed fish moaned. My stomach aches. I feel terrible. You need red algae, said the swordfish. But the only place where red algae grows is on the other side of the sea monster's cave, said the little blue fish. I'll go, declared Rainbow Fish. Are you out of your mind? Cried the others. It's the most dangerous place in the entire ocean. That's where the rock monsters live, and a creature with 1,000 arms to catch you, and the 5-eyed globefish. Rainbow Fish trembled. He almost changed his mind, but then he looked at the poor bumpy-backed fish lying in the sand. Bravely he said, I'll go anyway. I'll come with you, cried the little blue fish. That made Rainbow Fish feel better. Quickly they swam off before they lost their nerve. The sea monster's cave was dark and frightening. The rock walls were steep and jagged. Swim lower, whispered Rainbow Fish. That rock monster has his mouth open to eat us. The cave grew even darker. Suddenly the little blue fish cried out, Help! The 1,000-armed creature has caught me. Rainbow Fish tugged and pulled until his friend slipped out of the monster's slimy arms. That was a close call. Now he was really scared. Rainbow Fish looked down. The 5-eyed globefish is watching us, he whispered. The little blue fish shivered. Quick, let's get out of here, he said, and they swam as fast as they could until they finally emerged on the other side of the sea monster's cave. There they saw a big clump of red algae. The two friends picked as much as they could carry, and then they turned to go. The little blue fish hesitated. I can't go back through the cave. I'm too scared. Rainbow Fish was scared too, but he said, At least now we know what's in there. They looked at each other, gathered their courage, and swam off. Soon they saw the 5-eyed globefish. There's something funny about those eyes, said Rainbow Fish, and he swam a little closer. Then Rainbow Fish laughed. That isn't a 5-eyed globefish, he said. It's just the lanterns from 5 little lanternfish. Why, they aren't scary at all, said the little blue fish, giggling with relief. When they reached the creature with 1,000 arms, they looked more closely. Seaweed, they said together and laughed. The rock monsters turned out to be just ordinary rocks. Unafraid, the two fish swam right by them and out of the cave to find their friends. You made it, the other fish cried. Did you see the rock monsters? Did anything try to eat you? We'll tell you everything later, answered Rainbow Fish, but first we have to give this red algae to the bumpy-backed fish. The bumpy-backed fish nibbled at the algae, and soon he felt better. I don't know how I can thank you. It must have been dreadful to go through the cave. We were terribly afraid, Rainbow Fish admitted, but when we looked more closely, the monsters disappeared, interrupted the little blue fish happily, and then the two of them told the story of their journey and all the terrifying monsters that weren't really monsters at all. Rainbow Fish 1, 2, 3. How many yellow scales does Rainbow Fish have? 1. Can you count 1? Orange starfish 2? 1. How many orange scales does Rainbow Fish have? 1, 2. Can you count 2 purple clamshells too? Do you see them? 1, 2. How many red scales does Rainbow Fish have? 1, 2, 3. Can you count 3 purple sea urchins too? 1, 2, 3. How many green scales does Rainbow Fish have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you count 4 orange and yellow seahorses too? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many pink scales does Rainbow Fish have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you count 5 blue conch shells too? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many purple scales does Rainbow Fish have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you count 6 green leaves too? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many blue scales does rainbow fish have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can you count 7 blue fish too? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many purple scales does rainbow fish have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can you count 8 green prickly plants too? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many blue scales does rainbow fish have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And can you count 9 orange crabs too? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 orange crabs. How many silver scales does rainbow fish have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you count the pretty bubbles too? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 pretty bubbles. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One morning, Miss Cuddle called her school of fish to order. Old Nemo will be here soon to tell us all about his days as a famous explorer, she said. Hooray, Rainbow Fish cheered. Old Nemo tells great stories. The one about the giant jellyfish is the best, said Spike. It is one of my favorites, too, added Old Nemo. He told stories all morning. After old Nemo left, Miss Cuttle had a hard time getting her class back to work. They did not want to sort shells. They wanted to fight off giant jellyfish and find secret caverns. Miss Cuttle could see that her class needed a break. I think you are all still off on one of old Nemo's stories. Let's take an early recess. After old Nemo's Tales of the Sea, recess at the sunken ship was not very exciting. We can pretend we are brave explorers, said Angel. I have a better idea, said Spike. Let's explore the reef. That's a great idea, agreed Rainbow Fish. But what will Miss Cuddles say? Asked Angel. We will be back before she even knows that we're gone, said Spike. Come on, follow me. Rainbow Fish, Spike, and Angel jetted off toward the oyster beds. We can find a pearl just like Puffer did, Rainbow Fish said. It's not a real adventure if someone has already done it, said Spike. What about the crystal caverns? Asked Rainbow Fish. Oh, they are so sparkly, added Angel. We have been there too, said Spike. Old Nemo found them long ago. Do you have any better ideas? Asked Rainbow Fish. We can go to the volcano, said Spike. No one ever goes there. Off they went. Spike stopped at the edge of the volcano. I dare you to take a closer look. But we're not allowed to, said Rainbow Fish. Don't be such a scaredy catfish, said Spike. Suddenly a dark shadow appeared. As it moved closer, it grew bigger. The fish were frozen with fear. We should have stayed at school, whispered Angel. A loud voice boomed from the shadow. Does Miss Cuttle know where you are? It was old Nemo. I'm so glad it is you, old Nemo, said Rainbow Fish. We were really scared. There is much to be afraid of in the deep, said old Nemo. You young fish are very lucky. The ocean deep is no place for you. We want to be brave explorers, they said all at once. Many young fish dream about the adventures that await them in the deep, said old Nemo. School is adventure enough for young fish, said old Nemo. You still have much to learn before you will be ready to explore the great beyond. And with that, old Nemo led them back to Miss Cuddle's school. Rainbow Fish, Spike, and Angel told Miss Cuttle they were very sorry for swimming off by themselves. They promised never to do it again. I'm just glad you're back safe and sound, she replied. Old Nemo was right. School was the only adventure they needed. The end. Rainbow Fish and the Big Blue Whale by Marcus Pfister. A long way out in the deep blue sea, Rainbow Fish and his friends swam happily through the reef. Each of them had a glittering silver scale, except for one little striped fish, but he belonged to the group anyway. When the fish were hungry, they ate tiny krill. There seemed to be endless supplies of the delicious shrimp. Rainbow Fish only needed to glide gently through the water with his mouth open to catch as many as he wanted. It was a wonderful life. Before long, the fish with the jagged fins noticed the whale watching them. Why is he looking at us like that? He asked the others. He was in a particularly bad mood that day. See how he's staring at us? He went on irritably. Who knows what he's thinking? After that, all the fish grew more and more suspicious of the whale. "Look at that giant mouth," said one. "Soon the krill will all be gone." Rainbow fish began to worry. Until now, the fish had always been able to eat their fill. What if the whale did eat up all the krill? And why did he keep staring at them? Was he planning to eat them too? One day the whale swam quite near the school of glittering fish. Panicked, the fish with the jagged fins sounded the alarm. "Look out!" he called. "The wicked whale is after us." When the whale heard that, he was hurt at first, but soon he grew very angry. "I'll show them," he thought. "I'll teach them a lesson." So the great blue whale shot into the middle of the school and lashed out with his gigantic tail, sweeping the sparkling fish in all directions. The terrified fish fled, racing towards a crack in the reef for safety. But the whale didn't leave them alone. He followed Rainbow Fish and his friends all the way back to their cave. Nervous but driven by hunger, the fish cautiously left their cave and swam off in search of food. But the battle with the whale had left its mark. All the krill had been driven off. "This is silly," declared Rainbow Fish. "Before, we played happily in the sea. Now we hide in terror in our cave. Before, there was always enough food for everyone. Now we have nothing. We must make peace with the whale." The other fish were all too afraid to approach the whale. It was up to Rainbow Fish. The whale stared at Rainbow Fish suspiciously. "Please, let's talk," said Rainbow Fish. "This fight was all a big mistake. It drove off the krill, and now we're all hungry." The two talked for a long time. The whale told Rainbow Fish how hurt and angry their hostile words had made him. "I never meant to harm you," said the whale, "just scare you a little." Rainbow Fish was ashamed. "I'm sorry," he said, "but when we saw you watching us all the time, we were afraid you might eat us." The whale looked surprised. "I watched you only because your shining scales are so pretty," he said. They both laughed. "Come now," said the whale, "let's find new hunting grounds." So Rainbow Fish and his friends, protected by their new friend, the big blue whale, swam off together in search of a new home rich with krill. And before long, none of them could remember what the terrible fight had been about. Rainbow Fish to the rescue. A long way out in the deep blue sea, there swam a school of fish. Not just ordinary fish, each one had a sparkling silver scale. Ever since Rainbow Fish had shared his scales, these fish had done everything together. They swam together, they played together, they ate together, they even rested together, floating in the shadows of the reef. They were so happy together they had no interest in other fish. So one day, when a little striped fish swam through their game of flash tag, they all stared at him. "Hey," the little striped fish finally said, "can I play too?" "It's flash tag," said one little fish, "and you don't have a flashing scale." "Do you have to have a special scale?" the little striped fish asked. "Of course you do," said the fish with the jagged fins. "Come on, let's play," he called to the others. "Don't worry about him." Then all the fish turned and went back to their game. Rainbow Fish hesitated. He was afraid of losing his new friends, so he didn't dare stand up to the fish with the jagged fins. Feeling a little ashamed, Rainbow Fish reluctantly swam off to join the others. The little striped fish floated all alone at the edge of the reef. He looked sad as he watched the game. The other fish were having such fun, darting and diving in the deep blue sea, their shiny scales sparkling. Rainbow Fish remembered what it felt like to have no friends and how lonely he had been when all the fish had ignored him. He had been so proud of all his glittering scales that he had refused to share them. No wonder nobody had wanted to play with him. But now his friends did want him to play, and Rainbow Fish soon was caught up in the game. No one was paying attention when danger entered the reef. Suddenly a shark shot like an arrow into the middle of the school. The fish darted in every direction and managed to escape to their hiding place. There in a narrow crack in the reef, the shark could not reach them. They were safe, but the little striped fish wasn't. Rainbow Fish couldn't keep still. He was so worried. "What's wrong?" asked the skinny fish. "It's the little striped fish," said Rainbow Fish. "He's all alone out there. We've got to help him." With that, Rainbow Fish left the safety of the hiding place. "Let's go," he called. The other fish trembled with fear, but they knew what they had to do. They sped out of the crack after Rainbow Fish. They soon saw the shark, and there was the little striped fish swimming and spinning away from his jaws. Rainbow Fish could see that the little fish's strength was failing fast. "Hurry!" shouted Rainbow Fish, and all the fish swarmed straight for the shark. This confused the shark because usually fish swim away from him. He turned this way and that, snapping right and left till he was dizzy. The shark almost caught the fish with the jagged fins, but he escaped with just a few scratches. Quietly, Rainbow Fish led the little striped fish to safety. "You were really brave," said the little striped fish. "Thanks for saving my life." Together they watched as the exhausted shark gave up and swam away. When all the fish returned safely to the reef, they welcomed the little striped fish. "Why don't you stay and play with us?" Rainbow Fish offered. "How can I play flash tag when I don't have a shiny scale?" asked the little striped fish. "We can play fin tag instead," said the fish with the jagged fin. "Touch a fin and you're it." All the fish cheered, and then they swam off to play together in the deep blue sea.